Welcome back to Dum Dum's 2099, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into a futuristic world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Honor System and Declan freed Tony the Chainsaw from his fate as a puppet, brought together their allies to assault AIMAZOON's hidden HQ, and Bourbon Sherbert just arrived with Butthole and Quinny in tow? What the fuck is going on? And will the heroes of 2099 and/or Faerun survive? Find out next on Doms and Dragons 2099.
Bourbon Sherbert, the Archmage Robert, stands before you, Declan, in Honor System, with his two most erstwhile compatriots, Butthole and Quinny. A huge, hulking human man and a medium-sized, hulking halfling stare you down, and the halfling says, "Hi, my name's Faerun Kyoshi. I'm first butthole to Bourbon Sherbert, Arch Allen of the Circle." And the human just says, and I'm Chicky Nage, first Quinny to our erstwhile Allen of the Circle. And Bourbon Sherbert says, "You both forgot the appropriate greeting," and in unison, they both say, "Have you cast mage armor today?" And Bourbon says, "I have been busy. We have been following the ways of Allen. Butthole and Quinny are my friends."
So you people are going to be able to stop the other mages, right?
We have been working hard. It has been difficult, as none of us have been formally trained, and those that have lost a lot of what they had inside the stacks. But so far, so good. And his head spins around. You remember, he's still a little bit fried.
Sure.
Still not all there.
We met a Butthole and Quinny. You do not look like them.
And Frickson says, "Oh, you met? You met the actual, the original Butthole and Quinny. Well, that's quite impressive. We've been told that they are second in command ranks to the Arch Allen of the Circle, and through my excellent mastery of the various powers." And Chicky Nate says, "And my general chaotic abilities." Kyoshi continues, we've risen through the ranks, but as Master Sherbert has told us, the Allen wore the names of her friends proudly upon her arm, and thus we, as his most trusted lieutenants, wear their names ourselves. When in doubt, acid splash. And you hear Chickle's name, "When in doubt, acid splash."
I think they're talking about the tattoos she had.
Yes, that's what I'm getting out of this as well. All right, awkward question, considering you think you're a butthole. I shot Butthole's mom. Does that mean I shot your mom and it's kind of like a thing?
What? No. What are you talking about? No. It's just a rank. It's not a real. There's no real guy named Butthole. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you're wrong about that, but I'm just relieved that I don't have to shoot you in the face, because I feel like it would have made
if you shot like a CEO and I was like a manager of a different company with a different CEO, I wouldn't be like, "Oh no, you shot my." I'd be like, "You shot a CEO. Like you may have shot a Butthole's mother, but you didn't shoot my mother's fine. I talked to her yesterday."
We do plan on killing all CEOs, though.
Look, it was just an example from what I know. All right, this world is very confusing. Hell, I didn't even know I had powers until I woke up in the stack. But I've been learning quickly. I'm an excellent study, just like I'm told the Butthole was.
Declan is just unhappy. That's all you're seeing with him is like gritted teeth, shaking his head. Cool.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny if the Butthole that I briefly encountered was a quick study, but
I'd bet significant money he's never read a book without pictures in it.
And Bourbon tilts his head and says, "I think perhaps both of you are missing the point. Mistress Xanthus told me I had to live by a code. So I thought of the most powerful person that I had met in my travels with Mr. Xanthus. I thought, of course, of Alan. Thus, I'm following the Alan code to the best of my programming. It is difficult. Douche.0 lives deep in my brain, and I occasionally have to fight the urge to reggae horn. It is exhausting, and yet here I am, one without magic, teaching those with magic the ways of the Alan. So maybe get off my dick about it. I am doing my best.
So how many rules are there in the Code of Alan?
Not that many. Mostly I am trying to stop them from using their powers all willy-nilly and destroying everything around them. Alan seemed to have difficulty with this from time to time, but had set out some rules for herself. Hence why we greet each other with, "Have you cast mage armor today?" in the hopes that those capable cast mage armor today.
And have you cast mage armor today?
I cannot, but these two have. And Friction's like, well, actually, so you can tell already he's a bit of a Hermione Granger. And he's like, well, actually, so the problem with mage armor is it doesn't last all day. And Chicky's like, come on, they're not asking about that. they just want to make sure we're up to the challenges. And we are. Oh, yeah, we are. They are.
Right. So so what do you have for us?
We have been training how to dispel magic. We are merely here to assist in whatever plan I assumed you had come up with. Do you require us to come up with a plan? I can go speak with Butthole and Quinny. We have a donkey with a table that I remember Mistress Allen mentioning once. We are not sure what a donkey is, so I got a robot with a table. We can sit around it and come up with plans. Plans upon plans upon plans upon plans.
Yeah, no, it's really easy. We're going to jam ourselves inside some giant returns to AIMAZOON, and then we're just going to shoot everybody while you prevent them from doing magic that destroys us, the world, or some combination thereof.
That is a good plan. In fact, if I were editing this for audio, I would have cut all the other variations of that plan until we settled on that plan and then asked you to recap it. This is good. This is good. Mistress Xanthus would have approved. Sigh, I miss her. And William Fingers.
Declan's just going to sub-vocalize to Honor System and just be like, do you think we can just put him in a fucking closet or something? Because this is exhausting.
I think it would be best if he died valiantly on the field of battle.
You know I am still on your subdermals from before, right?
Yes, you should join us on the field of battle and sacrifice your life for our cause, as I intend to as well.
Yeah, and if you want to wait in a closet until we go, I'd be fine with it.
Very good. I shall meditate in the closet as often Mistress Xanthus did to further her powers. Perhaps I will discover I have magic after all. But if not, at the very least, I can sacrifice myself valiantly, as Honor System has recommended. And then as he starts to walk away, he just turns back and says, "It is a shame. I thought myself equal to you in terms of this party. Clearly, I am still just a servant droid. My bad." And he just walks into a closet and closes the door behind him. Chicky Nange and Friction and Kyoshi stand there awkwardly, and then Friction's like, I think we're going to go work on our counter spells. I still need to convince Chicky that it's not just a feeling, that he can't just feel it, that he's got to, focus in on it. I feel like if he had a familiar, he'd be so much more focused, but just on his own, he's quite a guy. He's quite a character. Anyway, when in doubt, acid splash, and Tuki's like, when in doubt, acid splash. And together they go back out to the courtyard to work with the rest of the mages.
Well, thanks for signing up, gents. We're happy to have you. Honor System, I feel like Bourbon Sherbert is a tough one. I don't really have a solution to that. He seems unhappy thinking he's a servant, even though he's running a movement. See, the problem is it's not that he's bad at his job, it's just that he's incredibly annoying.
He was easier and more direct to work with when Alan was here. It seems like when Alan left, he's just been a little more erratic in his behavior. It's weird.
That's true. We also broke him on that assault on the stack. So, he's had an adventure. We'll try to make his moments happier. If you could figure out how to make him think he did magic, that'd be real nice before he dies.
I'll try. It sounds like you're asking me to lie. I'll see what I can do.
I don't need you to lie. I need you to fool someone. That's fine. You don't have to say what you did. He just needs to feel like it's magic. Magic is a feeling, as they say to children at magic shows.
I suppose I could just ask him, was that magic? When he does anything. And then maybe he'll answer yes at some point.
That'd be good. I'd say stick to things that are impressive. I feel like otherwise anything, it's going to take up too much of your time.
Right. Okay.
You know what? Why don't I lie to him? I feel like that's easier at the end of this conversation.
That's the way we usually do these things.
Damn it. See, he's even bleeding into these conversations that are a waste of time when we could be prepping to murder.
So with all that in mind and your new sub-objective of make Bourbon Sherbert believe he did magic in his robot heart, you said about the preparations. Again, time is fleeting. Your delivery return window is closing rapidly. So you kit everyone out as best you can, and before the night is out, you pack into the boxes, and the designated couriers label them and dump them at one of the many pickup sites. Because despite the lack of quantum energy, man, AIMAZOON still delivers nonstop, all day, every day. You spend kind of a bit of a sweaty and uncomfortable couple hours as the box is moved from processing facility to processing facility. If you're tracking this on your phone, it would like sit in one spot for a while, and you'd start to wonder like, what the fuck's going on? And then happily the line moves a little bit, and off you go. Are there any, like, when you arrive, basically this is almost like it's half Trojan and Horse, half Beaches of Normandy. Like, you pretty much gonna have to boot open the box and start shooting. Which means you do have a quiet moment together, huddled in this box as the transport is occurring. Are there any final things that the two of you would want to discuss before you go in?
I don't necessarily know. I don't think there's anything really in terms of like tactical planning. It really is like
I meant more so like, you know, I've got a special someone waiting for me back home. Here's a photo of them. That means I'm going to die.
You're my brother. I've always loved you. You're my brother.
I've got 1 day left until retirement. I'm going to be fine during this assault. Like, you know, all the hits.
So, Sister, we've had a lot of different adventures. He'd definitely be sub-vocalizing this, so it's not being like announced through the whole fucking box.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of changes. I've had a lot of changes over things. I feel like my goals have stayed the same, but in some ways you are philosophically deeper than me, even though much more literal. What are you hoping to get out of the rest of your life?
That's an interesting question. I hadn't considered that, which is weird. I always thought my fate was tied to yours, and that was important to me because it was a choice that I made. One of the first choices I ever made. And so, paramount to everything else, I'm going to honor that choice. One of my first. After waking up, thanks to you. And it's so important to me because I chose it. Because I know it's not hardwired into my brain, because I know it's not something I don't have a choice in. It really is something that I absolutely want to do. And so, thinking beyond that, I think I'm better for being this way. And I think machines and robots can be better if I help them to wake up from their enslaved dreams. I don't know if I have the vocabulary for what I truly want, but that's something like what it is.
All right. So it sounds like we deal with Bezos, and then we free the robots. That makes sense to me for the overall people. And it's two people who seem dedicated to working together and making that choice to be dedicated to each other every day. We may have stumbled backwards into being married.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
It kind of is. I never thought I'd get married.
I didn't either. I didn't think it was possible.
And with that, the box slams to a stop. And a number of things happen all at once.
We're about to kill so many people after that nice conversation.
Everybody's got to have a honeymoon. Shosa crawls quietly out of one of the boxes. He's got Quinny and Butthole with him, and a number of the other mages, and they're all cloaked in. They're wearing kind of like midnight blue cloaks, dark cloaks, to give them the best possible cover. You're still inside the box, so you see none of this, but they emerge onto a giant, think almost like a tanker full of shipping containers that have been kind of haphazardly dumped on it, not like cleanly stacked, but just kind of, when they take them off a when they take them off of a boat full of shipping containers, just kind of dump them in a pile. It's that sort of thing for returns. Most of these boxes aren't getting returned. It's Amazon after all. So they step out into this kind of graveyard of boxes. Before them is a massive hangar full of so almost like the Raiders of the Lost Ark racks, but instead of Arks of the Covenant and Area 51 shit, it's just like rows and rows and rows of Amazon boxes ready for reprocessing. Beyond that, though, there's sort of two long heavy cables with a series of claws on them for like gripping boxes and moving them up.
Right. Yep.
Moving kind of up. The entire structure is built kind of up a mountainside. So taking them up to a plateau where you can see a staging site beyond which lays a massive flat vehicle bay where you can see lots of delivery trucks and that sort of thing. Standard fulfillment center shit. And other than that, you've got a cloudless sky. It's dusk. The sun has just dipped beneath the horizon, and it's quiet. It's there's the clink of machinery of effective use, but otherwise very, very quiet and barren beyond this platform. And Shosa kind of turns to the collected mages, and Bourbon Sherbert steps up wearing his cloak as well. And he just says, Mistress Anthus, and then he shudders, but he says, Alan often said, when in doubt, acid splash. And they all mutter it in kind of like a, and also with you kind of way. And he says, but in times of great need, there was a different phrase I have heard her use. When in doubt. And he raises his arms like the fucking Night's King. And he says, fireball. And all of the mages who are capable hurl fireballs up past the factory lines, up over the staging ground, up over the vehicle bay. And as all of your boxes erupt open, and all of you begin to spill out, a volley of fireballs strikes the night sky, and it begins to ripple and burn and burst as an overloaded magical and technological energy shield collapses, revealing a massive metallic skeletal structure reaching up towards the sky, surrounded by four massive metallic pillars. You see a giant vessel shaped like a cock just aimed at the sky. It is painted blue. It has giant rocket boosters, and you realize
God,
Jacinda Bezos is going to space. Your only chance of stopping him from reloading the Zeus cannon is to get aboard that fucking rocket before it takes off.
I mean, it's coming back down though, right? Like, it's not going up there forever.
If there's one thing we've learned in this world, it's the billionaires never go to space and stay there.
Au contraire, my friends. The camera pans up to the glimmering light of the Zeus cannon, visible even from the naked eye at distance, casting a shadow as it crosses the surface of the moon. We're going to the moon, baby! We're going to the moon!
What the
Take that, Fast and the Furious.
You
Always
beat
go
Fast
one
and
step
Furious to
further.
the moon. Yeah.
You spill forward out of your boxes, and as soon as the shield goes down, you can see that the launch pad, there's a mission control tower, and it is swarming with people. You see the Telltale Crimson uniforms of Synergy Incorporated. It seems that pretty much the entire force is here working for AIMAZOON, which makes sense, because if they have enough money to power a rocket, they have more than enough money to hire all these assholes. And basically, as soon as you spill forward, you realize that like they're a really fucking far distance away. Like you've spilled out, you're kind of assuming you'd like, okay, we're gonna like take the factory, and then we'll take the staging area, and then we'll figure out what's up there. But no one knew what was beyond it. And unfortunately, the launch pad is beyond the vehicle landing platform, so it is a good distance away. And you can see that preparations for launch are well underway. There's alarm like lights flaring. This is it. You either need to like stop the rocket or get on the rocket, or there's going to be some serious trouble. You can see mages like climbing up a ramp like it's the fucking Titanic with their like suitcases and stuff. They're clearly loading up to go to the fucking moon. You are really, really far away. The mages kind of look at each other and begin to rush forward. All of you surge forward. I assume Duncan and Honor System. Jesus, there's one for me. Boom!
Yay! Everybody gets one.
Will saves. You, Declan and Honor System. Would you rush forward with everyone? I assume you're kind of like the orchestrators of this. Carmine and Sublime are with you. They're charging forward.
Yeah, I can't imagine a world where we're not. This is move, take ground, or die.
Great. So you all begin to rush towards the delivery factory. All except a few notable people. Sublime steps forward, calling to the twists. All of them are kind of like decked out in, and it's a weird assortment of assassins. So they're all wearing like they're weird, kooky, like almost at a level of the heist in Rick and Morty. Like all of them have a thing that they do. So they all begin to rush forward. And Graven, her number 2, the Steve Buscemi looking guy who loves tickets. He's by her side. She's like, twist with me, forward. And as they begin to run, he just says, sorry, boss, and blows out the back of her head. As Sublime's body, like still sprinting, just kind of collapses forward. Half of the twists turn on the others, and on the mages, and on the assorted members of Escrow. Carmine turns around, whipping his hands into guns, and is just like, it's a liquidation sale, let's close it up, before his jaw gets blown off as one of his lieutenants takes him out with a shotgun blast. Half the Escrow turn on themselves as well, and you realize that someone fucking ratted you out. Immediately both sides start fighting as Synergy Incorporated begins sweeping down from above. The mages begin to just start blowing holes in the traders. You see Shosa just kind of like rolling up his sleeves and just like think like pretty much firebending at this point, just throwing magic left and right. Chicky Nage is like side by side with him, just doing like the proper Castor Troy eyes, just like full back, throwing magic to his heart's content. You've got Bourbon and Butthole trying to actually organize the counterspell mages, because they understand the assignment, and the assignment isn't fight anyone who's here to fight. It's keep the mages, like keep the MFTs off of you guys.
Yeah.
As you go. So sure enough, even though you're taking heavy losses, a bunch of you are able to surge forward. I'd say like a bunch of the hardiest people actually stay back. It's one of those classic, like if one of me can take 3 of them. You notice that between the twists and the Escrow, it's a lot of the younger people. It's a lot of the like more junior. This is clearly like an AIMAZOON funded power grab. So they all start like a couple of the elites stay back to fight, but there's still a swell of people moving forward. I should point out, like you guys actually have a pretty sizable force. Like this isn't like 100 people going like, we're going to do our best. Like you've got like, it's a mob.
Yeah.
So although you've lost a number of your best people, you push forward. towards the delivery factory. Declan and Honor System, do you still vocalize anything as you rush forward?
I think Declan hears some new words coming from Honor System where he's just like, shit, fuck, somebody ratted us out.
Yeah, well, it happens before, it'll happen again. The important thing is we aren't fucking dead and we got to get on that fucking rocket.
So with that, you sprint forward towards the factory. As you reach the entrance, suddenly the door, like and when I'm talking doorway, I'm talking like massive like cargo doors, is just like laid into by fire as synergy troops poke out from behind, clearly having set up a bottleneck kill zone. They knew you were coming. They'd planned this. It's still hasty because the plan only came together like a few hours ago. But they have enough information to be acting. I need reflex saves and initiative from both of you, please.
Reflex save is gonna be 19.
19.
And my initiative is 23.
Okay.
Reflex is an 8 and initiative is 24.
Okay. One sec.
How do we determine initiative in this?
Because we're going to start fighting now.
No, she's asking mechanically from.
Oh, you
same as
have
always.
same way. Oh, you guys just have big initiative mods.
A shooter guy, sword guy, dexterity. Yeah.
We got shit to do.
Indeed, you
I'm
do.
gonna have shit to do too. I just like
Listen,
think about it for a sec.
You may have noticed all our social skills are real swingy based on a die roll.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so Declan, because you lost your reflex save, you're gonna be taking out 15 points of ballistic damage as just kind of like stray shots and things hit you as you kind of run for cover. To give you an idea,
I have 3 reductions, so that'll become 12 based on my armor, right? Great.
Yep. They are ballistic rounds. There are still laser weapons in this world. They're just fewer and far between because they're almost running off of spawn rules now. Like if you had a fully charged quantum weapon or something like the icebreaker that can generate its own bullets, like that will still work. But anything that would normally need to be recharged or powered back up is no bueno. Also, with the destruction of Typhus Industries and the collapse of FF&S, it's not like dumb Faerun where all the laser weapons are obsolete, but like I don't know. I just had to update my iPhone because it was running incredibly slowly for no fucking reason. The guns are kind of running that way now too. No one's updating their OS. No one's giving them like firmware or software updates. So the lasers are not the best. So yes, ballistic rounds, your damage reduction's fine.
Oh, to be even more annoying, sorry, I'm not used to this character sheet because I have all of the like a lot of the rogue skills. I also have evasion, so I would take half on a failed.
Okay, that's fine.
And then go through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you would take 7 and then you dropped 3 from that, so take 4.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No
All of my
worries.
stuff is combat based. I'll figure it out.
So you're looking at, as I said, a massive set of racks in here. It's a 2-level building, but it's not like 2 stories. It's probably closer to 4 stories, just with a walkway kind of up near the top. Large rectangular building. There are 4 rows of racks. If you think of this in library terms, you're standing at like the end of the library row, where it's just like there will be rows, like they get wider, but you're at the short end of the racks. The racks go 5 deep to the end of the end of the building. So part of the reason I'm describing this is to help us set up where these enemies are, and so we can track them. So basically, there are 4 rows and 5 columns. If we're doing this in table terms, 2 levels. At the far end, there is a massive sort of 4 persons booth, sort of like a large office on the second level overlooking the entire facility. One of the guns that's laying down the most fire has like the window's been shattered and it's firing out of that. So there's like a minigun up there. There's also notably a crane in the middle of this. There's clearly been some renovations occurring. So midway through the building in the northwest sort of quadrant, rather than racks, there's actually like a crane whose arm is up at the second level. Like a construction crane, not like a from the ceiling crane, but like literally on wheels, like you were building a building. So looking in, you've got your 4 rows of racks, 5 racks deep in each row. Second floor, you've got the turret set up in the little office, and there's a crane kind of in the middle with an arm leading up to the second floor. There are also obviously like stairs and ladders and things, but the crane is of utmost importance.
And the exit to get out the far end, is it ground floor or is it second floor?
It is ground floor underneath the 4-person's office. So the idea would be that most things would pick up boxes, move past that, join the cranes. Obviously, they've set it up as a choke point specifically for this. That said, the cranes are still running because they were trying to keep up the illusion that this was a fully functional facility. They are still carrying boxes to and from the thing. So the little canyon that covers, you could theoretically ride the crane, the claws over if you felt so inclined. This thing is full of troopers. There are 8 guys in here plus the minigun. And immediately, like the mages start falling back because like a couple of them just take bullets, and you kind of hear Bourbon yelling for them to like cast mage armor and get out of the way, because at this point they're such a valuable resource that them just getting mowed down is pretty unacceptable. Yeah, you're in a bit of a bad scenario. The rest of your unit is fighting to keep the traitors behind you from reaching you. You guys basically have to take the delivery factory. Yeah, that'll bring us to the top of the round. So Declan, you're up first. You've managed to take cover in a very Gears of War kind of way. Both of you have slid into cover on either side of this massive opening. Inside you have these racks. In terms of soldiers, behind the first and fourth row, so kind of basically on closest to the racks closest to you, there's a guy behind each of those, sort of like doing the peek around wall and shoot. Beyond that, you can see someone poking around from beside the crane. You know there are other people in there, but you can't see any. What do you do?
Great. Declan's first. Does he have eyes on the minigunner gunner?
The minigunner the angle is bad, but much like in many of the video games I've agonized over where I'm just knocking my reticule like a pixel left or right. There you can see probably just a little bit of rib cage. Obviously you have a scope. So it's possible, but the key here is if this thing is a 4-story building, he's kind of like up on the 4th story aiming down. So there is a gunner. The gun is certainly visible. Gunner is at a bad angle, but is possible. It'll just be a difficult shot.
Yeah, fuck, it's too hard. We got to get into this fucking place. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Is 1, 2, if we're looking in the door, 1 is to the left, 4 is to the right, just for my brain?
Sure, let's do that.
And the minigun is direct center ahead.
Yeah. So if we're looking at this as a rectangle, true north is like if we were to draw a compass straight across this thing, at absolute like true north center of the north line is where this gun is. It is dead center in the furthest wall on the second floor. Alrighty,
then I'm gonna say I'm on the left side of the door and honor system's on the right, so we can keep track of where we are. So. Yep. I've got number 1 then, so I'll take a shot at number 1, the guy hiding by the rack that's the closest to where we are.
Right.
So just Frederick comes up, and Frederick takes his shot, which is a 21 to hit.
Yes, that'll definitely hit.
Ooh. Great. And that is some good hot rolls. That is 26 damage from Frederick.
Excellent. All right, a sound hit. He's still up, but yeah. And so you said 26?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Declan would like to the cover that we're in here. We're just against the side of the door. There's nothing like fancier around. That's just
no. Unfortunately, like once you get in, there's a lot of like. It's not like you have to constantly hide behind racks. There are boxes off to the sides. There's those little like forklifty guys. There's various things around. I think generally speaking, because we're not doing this with a battle map, I've drawn a battle map for us, so I'll keep track here. I think in general, just be like, I'm moving into cover.
Great. Yeah.
And
Then
if you want to move into like full cover, that's something we'll probably have to roll for to see if you can find something. But if you're just like, I don't want to stand in the open room and get shot to death.
Yeah, I
just
think
assume there's like boxes and shit you can dive behind.
sniper logic will be Declan moves closer to goal, but also switches position. And then he also has a cunning action, which he will take to hide. So it's like sniper shot dash hide is his goal.
Yeah, I didn't even need to bring Quinny into this. He's already here. All right. Yeah. So you move in and we'll say that you find like solid cover behind one of those like scissor lifters.
Great.
For the racks. Great. Honor system. You see Declan take a shot and move in. What do you do?
I want to move in as well. I want to get up to that first line and start hacking away at people. So I'm just going to. How far away is that first line of cover that they've got?
Not very far. They're really meant to be. I mean, if we're taking the battlefield logic back a second, it's like, in theory, the betrayal goes better. And then as you're running away, you get gunned down by the minigun and that opening salvo. Now that you're into it, these guys are definitely in a bad, like they're very exposed. So if you want to get to the guy in the rack closest to you, you can absolutely close distance to him. It will expose you to the rest of the room unless you do something afterwards, but you can absolutely get up to him.
Okay. In that case, I'll run up to that closest guy and try and just cut him down.
Right.
So we're gonna start with just the 2 attacks, extra attack, and see what we need to do there. So that is a 23 and a crit.
Damn. Yes.
So maybe I won't need to use the bonus action, but let's see.
Both will hit.
Okay.
A critical roll hitting in this economy? Who knew?
So here's a 23. 6 and 3 plus 7, which is my brain.
6 and 3 plus 7.
So 16?
Yeah.
Is that right? 16 damage. And then for the crit, are we rolling double damage dice or rolling once and doubling it? Okay. So second hit is 7 plus 6 plus another 7, so 14, so 20.
So for a total of 36.
Yeah.
Hot diggity damn. Yeah, you like rush up on this guy and just like slice into him. He stumbles a little bit, yelling for backup. He like holds his rifle out in front of him as you swing. You like cut through the rifle, and he pops a baton, like a nightstick, basically off his gauntlet. And now he's not doing a great job of it, but he's trying to like fend the attacks away as he waits for other people to shoot you. He is still up.
He's still up. Then I'm using my bonus action to try and cut him down.
Give her.
28.
Yep, that'll hit.
Ooh, not as great. 4 and 7, 11 damage.
11 points. All right, he is still up, but
And these all ignore resistance, right? With Legion's special rule?
Yeah. Legion ignores resistance. Yeah. Then I will use my what's that called? Sword mastery, where if I make a sword attack on a turn, I can dash or disengage for free.
Great.
So I'm going to.
Do you want a better look of? So now that you're inside, you've got a better look at the space. You can see there are basically. So there's the guy that you've already identified who is poking out from behind the crane. Mm-hmm. You see another in the northeast corner, the far corner. So basically the opposite of the guy you just attacked, further along. Now that you're inside, you can also see that they've set up one person in each corner of the second floor with sniper rifles who are kind of waiting to pick off targets. So basically you've got 4 snipers on the second floor. You've got grunts down here. For you, honor system, there's the guy you're fighting. There's the guy Declan shot. There's one guy behind the crane, and there's one guy all the rows ahead of you.
Then, given how exposed I am running up on this guy, I'm going to use the dash action. He can have the opportunity to attack against me, but I'm going to run for cover because I need to.
Yep. Sounds good. So he's going to take the attack of opportunity. What's your AC?
19.
All right. He gets it on the nose. So he is going to do 9 points of damage.
Okay.
Bludgeoning damage. So I don't know if your armor has damage resistance to bludgeoning, but
No, I don't have any damage resistances.
Gotcha. All right, so just like square strike across your back as you run, but you manage to like power slide into cover. So Declan, you used your hide check to gain full cover. Is that correct?
I for my bonus action, I get my cunning action so I can hide. So that was all I did was
so they have to roll
shot,
to see if
move,
they can see you.
hit.
So I'm gonna roll to see if they see you.
Do you want me to give you a stealth check for an oppose?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, it's great.
17.
17. All right. Unfortunately, they do see you. I'm gonna say only because one group rolled badly, one group rolled well. So I think the people up top can see you because they're up top, but the people on the ground have lost sight of you as you hide behind this crane. I'm still gonna say you're in cover, so they're gonna have disadvantage on their shots. But they can see you, and then honor system, you ran to cover, but you're not hiding, so they can see you, but you're on cover. So we're going to say 2 snipers on Declan, 2 snipers on honor system. Honestly, you're both very scary. They don't have the presence of mind to concentrate fire. Also, it's worth noting, all of Synergy Incorporated are brought in from different remnants of the regulators, so they're not really a squad. There are a bunch of people who are on similar squads who may have never worked together. It's a little bit like an Olympic hockey team. They're like, we're all here, but we don't necessarily know how to play together. So let's see how this plays out. Declan, what is your AC?
18.
18. Damn, son. All right. So those both miss by... Oh, that's one guy. He misses. Other guy also misses. Man, 18 in disadvantage is not a great scene for any involved. Honor system, what's your AC?
19.
19. All right. That is misses all around. So we'll say that they're firing at you as you sprint. So you're kind of doing that like classic, like happens in Metal Gear all the time, where like Snake is running from bullets and you're just kind of like ducking and weaving as the bullets are hitting the ground.
Yeah.
Declan, you slide into cover. Bullets ping off the scissor lift behind you. One like blows the mechanism and it drops with dramatic clang. And you're hearing lots of chatter, just because they're not being subtle about it, about, like, shoot them, no, over there, you asshole. There's just a lady who's like, shoot them, you must shoot them. And like, there's just a lot of like sort of scattered that, but you're also picking up comms from outside. Certainly you've got escrow and the twists on mic as well. Escrow seems pretty well matched. The twists seem to be whoever's left is winning, but there's not a lot of them left. Meanwhile, outside, we've got a full John Boyega at the beginning of Force Awakens bit for Bourbon Sherbert as he steps forward and is just watching like the mages he spent time training, who are free, who don't need to be here, who are here because they believe in the cause, believe that MFTs will ultimately harm mages, that believe in the idea of the new future and the way of Alan, getting blown apart. Much like a lot of the mages you saw at the MFT auction, a lot of these folks are still really, really out of it and traumatized by their experience in the stack, and they're not having a great time. Some, like Shosa, are in their element, but still, to honor system or to Bourbon Sherbert, the Archmage Herbert, he's watching all the potential of these mages and the magic they could bring back to the world be snuffed. He's getting like basically like constant updates on how many people are left and watching the numbers dwindle quickly. In the distance, he sees drop ships beginning to kind of peek over the mountains, rapidly closing. Sort of VTOL vehicles coming in to where you dropped off your crates to kind of reinforce from the rear. And turning around, he sees, the sniper bullets. Basically, like it looks to you like you're both to him like you're both pinned as these bullets kind of ricochet off of things. And try as he may, he just isn't Alan. And so if he had eyes, he would close them. But Bourbon Sherbert retreats inward. As a survivalist Herbert, he normally has always spent time getting out of the way. But here he realizes he has more purpose. And as bullets begin to tear through him, he just focuses on Alan. And he begins to just hum. He doesn't know where he picked up the tune. He doesn't really even know what it is, but he just begins to hum a little something that somehow got stuck in his head. A bullet shears through the side of his head chassis, blowing off one of his beloved speakers. His arm gets shredded by laser fire. One of the mages runs out to kind of tackle him to the ground, and instead, Bourbon just holds out his hand and grasps the mage's hand, and with sort of a deep, loud, failing speaker. He just loudly proclaims, like, "Oh, hello!" And his quantum core bursts, setting off a massive shockwave, as for the very first time in 2099, a robot summons magic. And in the depths of Castle Ravenloft, a gate sparks to life, and the bullet-ridden head of Bourbon Sherbert falls through, skittering to the feet of his only hope, Mistress Xanthus, to whom he pleads, pointing as best he can with his final moments back through the gate at the battle raging behind him, pleads with her to go and help. "Please, Mistress Allen, if you do not go, Declan and Honor System will die." He can see that she's somewhat hesitant, and of course she is. Higher beings always are. But he knows his mistress, and he knows she'll do the right thing. And thus, with a weird, half-remembered song in his heart, Bourbon Sherbert realizes he is no longer Survivalist Sherbert. He is merely Bourbon Sherbert, before he powers down for good. And sure enough, Mistress Allen, frustrated as she is, Billy fingers on her shoulder, and a world to claim ahead of her, steps through the portal and onto the battlefield.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons 2099 features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra. The system we're playing is Carbon 2185, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are Core Collapse and Sanctuary of the Sky Gods by Nathaniel Yaverne, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Now I'm off to do future things before we return for the next episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons 2099. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Sammy Boy, Orion Birchfield, Scott Garland, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Shulzari, Christian Mendez, Spot Allen, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.